Hi, my name is Brian Croft, and for some time now I've been painting the history of Vancouver and British Columbia. Whether I paint scenes from 100 years ago or 50 years ago, I'm thrilled to be able to look back through time and use my paintbrush to bring scenes like these back to life again on canvas. Some of my paintings focus on the 50s and 60s, and the time of rock and roll, and hot cars, great movies, and well, just being young. A teenager armed with a new driver's license, dad's borrowed car, and a few pals on board needed to look cool, and the local drive-in was very high on the list of cool places to be and be seen. I live in Langley, British Columbia, and our local A&W drive-in was the last one to operate in Canada. It served its last burger on April 30th in the year 2000, and I happened to drive by just after the closing. Seeing crowds of people there, I went home and got my camera, shot a whole roll of slide film that night. 13 years later, I took another look at those slides, and this time I found one that I thought I could use to anchor this painting, Drive-In Heaven. I started the painting by roughing in the drive-in building, and then I selected the cars. A 1960 Thunderbird, and a 57 Ford Fairlane, a 58 Pontiac Bonneville, and a 56 Chevy Nomad wagon. The newest car that I selected was a 68 Ford Mustang GT500 Shelby, and it was this car, of course, that then defined the date of the painting as 1968. And I painted the BC license plates white with sky blue lettering. Why? Because that's the way they were in '68. I needed a car in the foreground. It's an artistic, near-far kind of thing. And as this car was going to be very close up, it had to be very special. And I chose a 1960 Corvette in classic red and white. Of course, this was the A&W, so on the window of the Corvette, I had to research and then paint the classic A&W drive-in food tray, root beer mug and all. The A&W depended on lighted exit and entry signs to keep the cars flowing smoothly, and so I painted these in as well. And suspended under the walkway in front of each parking stall hung backlit menu boards. The tricky thing here was to get the menu and pricing right for 1968, and I was lucky to find a 1967 menu list on the internet which was close enough for my painting. Today's A&W logos have a white background, however in the main A&W roadside logo in my painting it has a dark brown background, and this is not a mistake, it's just the way it was briefly, around about 1968. Inside there were a few tables and chairs to cater to those who wanted to stretch their legs and eat undercover. The rest of the interior details that I painted are a combination of reality and artistic license. And finally, without getting too carried away about uniforms or roller skates, I added the finishing touch. 2 young car hops carrying trays. I painted Drive-In Heaven, not really meaning it to be the Langley location, but rather as a fond memory of all the A&W drive-in stands that we simply miss so much. If you find in these paintbrush strokes a memory or two, if I put a smile on your face or helped you remember a special someone, well, that's good enough for me. You can find more of my work at www.briancroft.com. We'll see you there. Hey now, I gotta go.